Sorry, that was a false start, but we're here on Whadjuk Noongar country. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners. We're here at the APIA conference, the Australian Petroleum Production and Exploration Association. We are Extinction Rebellion, and we are here to say that oil and gas is killing us. Inside this building are executives from the big oil and gas companies, and today the keynote address from the conference will be given to them by Mark McGowan. Scott Morrison will be speaking by a video link from the G7, which shows that there's a very close relationship between our government and between these oil and gas companies, and that we're living in a captured state. And so we are here to say that ordinary people across the world, including here in Western Australia, won't stand for further death and destruction due to the extraction of fossil fuels. We're Extinction Rebellion, where ordinary people come together to demand a safer future. These executives, these companies that are inside, could be part of that, and yet they continue to operate purely for profit. They're claiming that gas is a transition fuel. Just yesterday, or the day before, Scott Morrison at the G7 claiming that gas is part of a low emissions future. It's simply not true. It's more fossil fuels, and extracting and burning more fossil fuels is simply not conducive to a safe planet. We can't keep things safe. We can't transition while we are continuing to extract fossil fuels. And these companies are continuing to do that, to look for more developments and to keep taking that stuff out of the ground. So we've got our men in suits representing the fossil fuel executives pouring oil on the people.
Plastic suit you're wearing there?
So there's this man who works in the oil and gas industry making fun of our plastic suits when ultimately already lives are being lost and destroyed because of the climate emergency. We had an earlier action here this morning organised by 350, which we're a part of. This is not hyperbole, this is not exaggeration. Literally, these industries are already responsible for loss of life and will continue to be responsible for further loss of life. These companies on the banner, Woodside, BP, Exxon, Mobil, BHP, Chevron, these companies have known since the 1970s what this extraction would lead to, and yet they've continued. And even now, in the year 2021, where lives are being lost across the world due to the climate emergency, they still continue. Here in Australia, we've seen it with our bushfires. In other parts of the world, we've seen all kinds of disasters. There's one natural disaster a week directly linked to the climate emergency: rising sea levels. In the Torres Strait Island, sea levels are rising, putting water supplies at risk and ultimately taking away people's homes. Agricultural yields are declining. We're going to see food shortages in increasing numbers over the years to come. And this is directly linked to these industries. So we as Extinction Rebellion are building a mass movement of people taking to the streets to demand real and serious action. And so please join us. Go to our website, xrwa.earth, and you'll find an option there to sign up, to tell us about how you're interested in getting involved in our movement, in our community, what you have to bring, what you have to offer. So please, get involved. Nothing can be more important. Nothing can be more empowering. These people are here in the rain, in the cold, choosing to be here, choosing to cover themselves in oil early on in a Tuesday morning. And that's not just for fun, it's not just a hobby, that's because this is something that's important to all of us here. As Extinction Rebellion, we have 3 demands. We demand that government tell the truth rather than coming and supporting these industries, rather than speaking at their conferences. Those in government have a responsibility to demand a climate emergency and to be honest with us about what we're facing. So that is the first demand of Extinction Rebellion. Second demand is that government act now to reduce carbon emissions as quickly as is possible. No long-term targets, no aspirations. We want real action and we want it immediately. So that's our second demand. And by doing that, by acting now, that would not be consistent with the activities of these companies. And the third demand is the one that I love the most, that is close to my heart, is a demand for a citizens' assembly. A citizens' assembly, if you haven't heard of it, is a body, a deliberative democracy, a deliberatively democratic body that advise government, putting decision-making power in the hands of the people, ordinary people who are chosen to represent the population. So randomly selected, but according to the demographic makeup of the population. And then those people are entrusted to listen to experts, to deliberate, to talk, and to make decisions which represent the will of the people. This is true democracy. This is what we need to stop the capture of our government by these fossil fuel companies who have their representatives sitting inside this building right here. So the police today have not allowed us into the building, have been protecting the climate criminals. Meanwhile, we're out here. So we demand that government implement the Citizens' Assembly, because that is the only way that we can address this crisis in front of us by an improved democracy. Often environmental policies or environmental thought can lead to government acting, but we need to make sure that what the action that is taken is in line with the will of the people. Thank you, rebels. Thank you, rebels. Extinction! Rebellion! Extinction! Rebellion! Extinction! Rebellion! Extinction! Rebellion! Extinction! Rebellion! Extinction! Rebellion! So please get in touch with your local Extinction Rebellion group. Head to our website, xrwa.earth. You'll find a list of all the groups there, and you will find a form where you can join up. I'm just seeing that there's a move on notice being written now. So police are moving on the people who are here, trying to defend life on Earth, trying to protect people alive now, trying to protect future generations, while inside sit the fossil fuel executives who are actively destroying life on Earth through further extraction of resources. Doesn't seem quite right to me. Doesn't quite seem like the right priorities to me. For a peaceful demonstration in the rain. But our rebels are being asked to move on. thank you everyone for watching. Just like to, again, before we finish, acknowledge that we're on Whadjuk Noongar land, and say that sovereignty was never ceded. This land is their land, this land where these fossil fuel companies are operating. I was talking a lot before about the Citizens Assembly. First Nations people would be some of the people advising that Citizens Assembly because they have the knowledge that can help us to address this crisis, and we need to connect with that and respect their sovereignty of land. All right, have a good day everyone. Thank you, Kelly. How are you feeling, Kelly?
Pretty good,
Pretty
yeah.
good?
Cold.
You getting a move on notice?
Yeah, I'm getting a move on notice. Classic.
Yeah. And
I think it's worth it. It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. So, you know, we're in a crisis.
and you must be cold.
A little bit cold.
Yeah.
Can't wait to have a nice coffee or hot chocolate or something after this.
Yeah, well, you deserve it. You've earned it. Yeah. Cool. And keep an eye out on the Extinction Rebellion page for the rest of the week. We're going to have more looking great stuff.
Oh,
How are you feeling?
feeling great. Badge of honour.
Yeah, move on notice. Yeah. Well done. All right. Have a good day. See you. All right. Bye-bye.